Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Let's be completely honest. Are you happy with your job? The fact is, a huge number of people can't say yes to that. Too many of us are stuck in a job we've outgrown or one we never really wanted in the first place. But we stick it out and we give reasons like, what if the next move is worse? And I've put years into this place. And maybe the most common one, isn't everyone miserable at work? But there's a difference between reasons for staying and excuses for not leaving. It's time to get unstuck. It's time for Strawberry.me. They match you with a certified career coach who helps you get from where you are to where you want to be, either at your existing job or by helping you find a new one. Your coach helps clarify your goals, creates a plan, and keeps you accountable along the way. Go to strawberry.me/career and get 50% off your first coaching session. That's strawberry.me/career.
Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham, and normally we would be hearing Brooke say, I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney. I am just doing the intro today because she and I recorded a very special extra long episode with Ace and Katelyn from, you might know them from their show on their podcast show, Love Should Be Multiplied, Not Divided. It's a Sister Wives podcast. Or you might know their Patreon Shit Talk with Ace and Katelyn. We're big fans of them. We talked about Sister Wives. We talked about Seeking Sister Wives. We talked about Bravo shows. I mean, I can't even remember all the things that we talked about. We talked for 2 hours and we could have kept talking. So it's a great show. And if you're fans of them, I know you're going to really love this show. So before we get started, just a few things. We are on Patreon. Please go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/psychlegalpop. We just released our first Ask Us Anything. So you get a monthly Ask Us Anything. You can ask us legal questions. You can ask us mental health questions. And it was funny, this first month, it was all just personal questions about our lives. So that was that episode. We also do a monthly episode, a true crime episode. So far, we've done Burden of Proof and now I'm going to forget the name, Killer, Stalker, Lover, Stalker, Killer. I don't know what order it's in, but we did that the first month. And then you also get a weekly show from us. So we just dropped that yesterday. We talked about the new Taylor Swift album and we talked about Harry and Meghan, and I gave them my personal advice on what to do with their careers. I don't know why they don't listen to me. But hopefully they're on Patreon and listening. So it's a lot of fun. There's one tier, $8. Go check us out. There are other ways to support the podcast. You can go and write a 5-star rating and review. You can follow the podcast. You can follow us on social media at Psych Legal Pop on Instagram and TikTok, or you can spread the word. Tell everyone about this show. If you really enjoy it and you're enjoying us, please spread the word. And thank you so much to everyone and all of your support. And now it's time for the show. Enjoy. All right. So I'm sure the two of you have shared this before, but I would love to hear about how all of this started for you. The podcasting, Sister Wives. I know that you both had been watching the show forever, since the beginning, but just how did you end up podcasting together?
I had a podcast before where I interviewed people anonymously about their secrets, and it was so fun to do, but it was so emotionally taxing, and like it
was also hard to find people willing to share their secrets after a while. Like it was like you depended a lot on someone else,
which sucks
because you
so
you
one
could get
day
stood up or
I had gone to her and I said, can we please do a podcast about Sister Wives? I'm like, it'll just be a joke. No one's going to hear it. Like we've been in this forever. And I was like, for sure, this is going to be the last season. Like the show can't keep going. And she said, no, like the entire time. But then Christine announced her divorce and Katelyn was like, maybe. And then I was like, that's a yes.
This will be good. It'll be a really good season because she's leaving. And I was like, okay, fine. And I was like, well, I hope nobody listens.
And then we like put out the first episode and I was like, surely no one's going to listen. And like overnight it had like 15,000 plays. And I was like,
I think it was because people were just so reinterested in Sister Wives and like them falling apart as a family and Christine leaving. Like people jumped back in because we're like, how are people interested in this? Like we've been watching this show since the very beginning.
It's like watching paint dry.
Not interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's the dummest show of all time, but I love it so much.
But it was an investment that it paid off, you know.
Exactly.
We put in the work.
Wow. So you I didn't realize that you had started right at that season. I think I assumed that you had been doing it for a while so I have to tell the story about, we started our podcast at the fall of 2022 and same thing. We were doing lots of different random things. And anytime we did anything on Sister Wives, like the numbers exploded. So we were like, oh, it's the Sister Wives thing. But I really wanted to know more about Sister Wives. And I'm like, and Brooke was like, well, I have this podcast. Why don't we listen to it? And that it was your podcast or it was your Patreon or something.
Yeah, you just started the Patreon.
Started the Patreon. And we, from LA to the Bay Area, we just listened to Patreon. And I'm like pausing, asking questions. And I have to say that you had this fan fiction thing where in order for Christine to be able to be so calm with Cody, that months before she announced the separation to Cody, that truly was her coach in there going, you can do this. No, harder. Dad's going to do this. And I was just dying of laughter. I was like, that is the best hot take, fan fiction, whatever you want to call it, ever. That truly is like prepping mom by yelling at her and screaming in her face so that she can tell
we need to practice the divorce conversation again, Mom.
It's so wild because I don't know what is wrong with us, but everything we say is just like made up. Like I feel like most of the time what we're talking about is just like, there's about 2% fact with it, and the rest of it's just like speculation and made up and bullshit.
And we like take on like different characters on the show. We've made a whole new personality for them that they don't even have.
No,
little Savannah is like our favorite character, and we've made up a whole backstory for her.
Yeah,
and she is not. She like doesn't speak a word.
Yeah, I know. And your podcast, it was really unlike the closest thing I could think of is like Watch What Crappens, or the same kind of thing. They kind of take the characters and make them their own or, come up with these backstories. But yeah, I'd never heard a podcast quite like yours. And especially like,
I don't know if it's a compliment or not, but I'll take
it. It is a
compliment. And that's the thing. It's like, I just the belly laughs, are just so funny. And yeah, I loved it when you read the book.
Oh God.
Almost married.
They're almost married.
Yeah,
that was great. And the voices and all of it is just
Samuel.
That's a good time.
so entertaining.
The problem now is you put out so much content. To be a Patreon fan every day.
It's a full-time job to keep up.
It's crazy because in a pretty short amount of time, we have like over 650 episodes now.
Wow.
We just cranked those things out.
And I wonder how people keep up because we can't keep up with the podcast
Caitlin
we listen
said the other
to.
day, she's like, sometimes when you start playing the podcast, I'm like, oh, how do people listen to this?
Like, we have fun, but I don't think I'd be a listener.
Well, half of the show is just, just goofing on things and just, So it's such a good stress reliever. I mean, because there's just so much going on out there and so much whatever that it's like it's hard to get in a good belly laugh,
Yeah.
So that's what I appreciate about it.
Yeah.
It's that for us too. Like we just have fun with it and just make each other laugh. And we're like, it's always nice because you're like, if you're in a bad mood or something happened, then we just are like, okay, we'll feel better after we podcast.
There's been so many times, like we've had a really crappy past year plus dealing with just different things like infertility and stuff. And it was like, we would come on the podcast. I could be like having a full mental breakdown beforehand. And then it's like, we get on and I'm like not in it when it starts, but like 5 minutes in, I'm actually laughing and
making a stupid joke. And then we're like, okay, everything's all
everything's
fine
good again. So, and it's crazy too, like how many people have reached out and just said like, you have no idea. Like I hadn't laughed in a long time since listening to your podcast.
It's just like, their escape from reality.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's going through their own shit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been a really cool part of it.
It's as dumb as it is that we're all bonding over like a show that is so boring. There's something about it, like you guys said, people love Sister Wives. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. It's like people don't even want to watch the show, but they want to listen to all the podcasts. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day, just broadly about this show and the appeal of it. And there is no that I can think of. There's been no other show in TV history of a family who has shared as much as this family has, for so many years. I mean, we've really seen their lives and, the good and the bad. And, I think it's unique in that way. I mean, I really can't think of any other show or any other family that has exposed
I feel like John and
themselves.
Kate plus 8 were like that. But then
then it all blew
It
up.
got dark.
It got really dark. Yeah.
But
yeah,
also,
Sister Wives has been dark at times too, but I don't know. For some reason, it's just you just can't quit these people.
We're like invested.
Yeah, so we watch these kids grow up, and we've watched these women spread their wings and leave, and we watched Cody turn into a crazy person.
I mean, it's crazy if you go back to season 1, episode 1, and then fast forward to where we're at today, and it's just
it's shocking how different they all are
in every single way possible. Like. Every single thing about this entire family has changed, some for the better, some for the worse. But it's just, it almost feels like the Truman Show. Like it feels like we're all just watching kind of this experiment of what happens when you take these people who are super religious and closed off from the world and then throw them out for the rest of the world to see. And we're all just kind of watching this experiment happen.
Well, there's also the other layer of Sister Wives where what's happening now is they're finally being more truthful, right? They're finally coming out and saying, well, actually, I wasn't very happy. Or, I lied about
we never got along. We just tried to make it look like we did. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes the reruns so much more fascinating. And you don't get that with reality shows that way. There's not such a huge volume of material that you can then be like, oh, really? That wasn't true. Well, let me go back 5 seasons and rewatch.
And then you see it. You're like, oh, wait, I see it. I see Mary completely like disconnecting. Like you could pick out like when she started drifting away from the family and probably talking to people online. But it's like, well, as we were watching it, we didn't see it.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah. On the rewatch right now, we're at the catfishing scandal, and it's just like I feel like it's Christmas again. Like it's just this is my Christmas time. I've been waiting so long to get back to this part because I can remember when we first watched the show and the catfish, I mean, this was my whole life at the time. Like I was so invested in the catfish and how all this happened. And now it's like, and then like, it was crazy because I feel like this was one of the first times in which the Brown family really ended up on magazine covers was because of the catfishing scandal. And I can remember being in the store, seeing Mary's sad face and Jackie Overton walking in her Coca-Cola shirt or whatever. And just like, felt like I was alive,
It is. Or even like looking back, like Christine is now saying like, I'm not happy. And I was like, you favored Robin. And then it's like, you go back like season 1, episode 1, she's saying like, I don't want her to enter our family.
Yes.
Like, I'm not cool with this. And you're like, oh my God, she's been screaming it since like the first episode. Like, she basically said it every episode.
She's never really changed. She's always just been like, I don't think this has been great for us. And no one listened. And then Cody's like, what do you mean? I'm so confused, Christine. You never told us you were unhappy. And it's like,
why are you springing this on me now?
Yeah. Roll the tapes back.
Yeah, and then that's when it got good, when Christine finally got honest and was like, this is my truth. I am unhappy. I have always been unhappy. And it just like released the floodgates of,
and then Janelle started getting truthful, right?
Yeah.
Other people started to get truthful about what they were really thinking and feeling. And I think in some ways, it's almost like we've been gaslit a bit by them. This whole, all of these.
Yeah, I was going to say gaslighting first. I was going to say it first.
You only said gaslighting.
You only said gaslighting because I said it first.
Yeah.
We really have. Like, they tricked us into thinking they were happy and this worked. And then it's like, it never worked.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Truly's coaching of Christine, she should have been like, Mom, and this is when you play back the tape.
Yes. I think what's so crazy too is the Brown family set out to normalize polygamy. And if there's anything that the Brown family has accomplished, it is making people never want to live polygamy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
They are the poster child for don't do this.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is because they were coming out as this this alternative to Warren Jeffs. I think that they felt like they had to be so pure and perfect, and like we have to present such a different kind of situation so that people don't think of polygamy in a negative way because of Warren Jeffs, because of all of those things. And really, what happened was they spent how long? 14 years lying to themselves about how they really felt.
Yeah.
We never felt the need to mention the fact that Janelle is Cody's sister.
Yeah.
And we never felt the need to mention that Janelle was married to Mary's brother. Like, and that Christine's cousin is Robin's husband. Like, we left all of the incestual stuff out of it. You know?
And also that Christine's family was one of the worst polygamous cults, to ever exist. Little detail there. We forgot.
And we're like, God, what was wrong with Annie? Grandma Annie, why did she leave? She's the worst. And it's like, oh, she was getting out of a cult. Got it. Okay. That makes sense now.
Go Grandma Annie.
So what do you think? Do you think that Christine is just doesn't know, or you think she's been lying to herself? Because she has, what I thought was so fascinating is this last season when we meet her brothers, and they both are like, no, our childhood was terrible. And Christine's like, no, it was great. What are you talking about? Like, it's like in everybody, Annie, the kids, everyone seems to have had this horrible experience, but Christine sees it as a great experience. So that's why we're like, what were you seeing? Or have you been lying to yourself about this too?
See, I think I come from a big family. So I have 5 older sisters. I'm the youngest of 6. And the childhoods that me and my older sisters have had are completely different. I always say I was a cactus child, no one was really around, and I just they were just like, do your own thing, you're fine. Here's a little bit of water here and there. But some of my sisters, they were at the age where when my parents were going through really hard times, they were in it, and where I was just oblivious, and I was just living my life and chatting in chat rooms with probably much older people than I should have been talking to. But I think it all depends on when things fall apart and how they fall apart and at what age you're at and in what order of the family you are. Because I always say, God knew what he was doing when he didn't make me a firstborn, because I was not going to take care of anyone else. That's not me. I was meant to be a baby through and through.
I also think Christine does, like Cody says, live with rose-colored glasses on. I think she's probably like, oh, it was great. She's kind of always in another world.
Lexapro. I think she's on a lot of Lexapro.
Well, whatever she's doing, give me some.
It's working. She's very happy.
Yeah. Well, I hope David Woolley. I always want to say David Woolley Brown.
Yeah,
David Woolley.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Please call him by his proper name.
He seems like, I'm very happy for her. He seems like a really, really good guy. Though, again, it's just, it was all really fast. I had a real problem. I was just like, and I tell my clients all the time, you got to know someone for a year. You got to go through all 4 seasons. And then you
That's good advice.
You can live with them.
I think you need to go on a vacation with somebody at minute. You need to, and not you need to do a road trip. You need to be on a plane, because people's ugly sides come out. You need to have a bad experience at a restaurant, before. Because I mean, can you imagine you marry someone and then they're hounding the Chili's waitress over something being cold? It's like, oh God, please no. That's immediate out for me. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and it sounds like she was a little stalkerish about the whole thing, and.
What with him?
And it sounds like it sounds like his daughter was a little stalkerish with her. That's what I got.
Yeah, but she was
like making him do a dating profile the second she found out Christine was single. I was like, wait a second.
True.
Honestly, though, if I had a single dad, I would have done the same. I would have moved my dad to Utah. We're going to be on this show, damn it.
I do hope it works out, but I agree. It's like, she should have tried all the ice cream flavors, as Tony said.
Yes.
Yeah.
She just jumped right back into something super fast and got so serious.
Yeah. Well, we hope this works out. We can't take much more.
Yeah. Well, and she's having this sexual awakening. So she's having a great time.
That part I really do love.
Yeah.
And I believe, honestly, in my heart of hearts, like she is doing some weird, kinky, fairy shit in the bedroom. Like I love that for her. You know, I'm happy to know that she can explore that wild side. That's always
her
been
glad someone wants an intimate marriage with her.
Yeah, she can dress up as a princess, and he can dress up as, her.
Because I think, honestly, the only role playing Cody did before was with Mary, and he'd had her put on like a football jersey or a wrestling
singlet.
Yeah, he was like, "Come on, we're gonna wrestle, Mary. You got those broad shoulders. I want to wrestle you." It's like poor Mary, And Christine was like, "I want to role play. Come on, I want to anything. I want to be Cruella, and I want you to be the Dalmatian or something." And it's just like he never gave in.
Yeah, well, he didn't even want to make out with her. He didn't want to kiss her.
Okay, but can I just say this though really quick? Like, I thought that was so weird when Christine's like, I'd be like, oh, all I want for my birthday is like go make out somewhere. I'm like, ew. Like that's when you put it like that, I'm not into it. Like if we're making out to go somewhere, like meaning your hand down my pants, let's keep making out. But like just pull over like we're 16 and make
Yes, because she never got that. She wanted to make out the dry hump in the back seat of the
stunted.
car. Yeah.
But then I saw her kiss David Woolley Brown at their wedding, and I was like,
she's an aggressive kisser.
She was really going to eat his face off.
Yeah.
She likes to make out.
Yeah. I think she didn't get, a 20s to explore and figure things out and have experiences and all of that. And so, I think that she just wants experiences. She just wants that. And I think she kept going, wanting something from Cody that he was, she was just so desperate. She's like, you don't have to have sex with me. Just kiss me. Like,
I bet Robin got to make out in the car.
Oh, Robin always got to make out.
Yeah, in the car that you guys now own.
Yes, that's right. You own that. That is right. So how is the car?
Oh my God, it's an absolute shambles. The seats, the leather in the seats is just like, well, actually it has these seat covers and they're just absolutely falling apart. Funny story, we got it and it had the wrong battery in it. So when I brought it in to get a new battery, they were like, why'd you put this battery in here? It doesn't even, like, it's way smaller than the thing that's supposed to hold the battery. He's like,
typical Cody Brown probably just took it from another car.
Walking out
it out of it was like a quad battery. And he was like, good enough. You'll be fine. I'm like, oh, so.
It had no brake pads. Like, the brake pads
are completely gone. They were like, no, I don't know if they fell out or what, but they're not here. And I was like, oh God, okay.
Like not even worn down, just gone.
Like, just gone. They were gone.
Oh
and the best part is that this man had all these kids, and we saw some kids sit in the back seat, but it is like physically impossible to even put your legs down in the back seat.
Really?
You have to sit crisscross applesauce, and it's like so small.
Or the person in the passenger seat has to sit really far forward, which I tried moving the seat forward, and I was like, my legs were cramped, and I have a long torso, short legs.
We're like, I don't know how like McKelty and Maddie drove down to like St. George to see Robin with him.
5 hours.
5 hours crammed in the back of that little car.
Wild.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Well, so I don't know if you're at liberty to say, but how did you stumble upon this car?
So thankfully, a trash bag was looking for a son. I say this every time. She was looking for a car for her son, and she was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and she sends me a screenshot, and she's like, "I think this is Cody's car."
She lived in another state.
Yeah, it was in Oklahoma, and I think Oklahoma, right? And she sends it to me, and at the very end, it says, P.S. This car was previously owned by a celebrity. So I immediately get on the phone.
And it was being sold. It was listed by his buddy who was on the show who was taking the car.
Oh, so when they picked up, they tried to put that put it in the wrong
Yeah,
trailer.
Yeah. And that, of course, was great. Like you rent, this guy comes all the way here. You rent a truck and you don't bother measuring at all?
I don't even think had they gotten it in. I think it was probably best because I think someone would have died. I think that trailer was going to pop right open.
It was not like a secure, strong trailer. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So he was selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and we're on
vacation. I get on the phone. I don't even tell her what I'm doing. I just get on the phone. I'm like, oh, I have to go take a call. What my job? Like I don't have anything going on. So I go and I talk to him and I was like, hey, yeah, I used to own one of these cars before and they're so hard to find. So, and I didn't even ask, like, does it run? Is it working?
He's like, no questions asked, but we'll take it.
I just go, can you ship it to me? And he was like, oh yeah, I've done that before. And I was like, perfect, let's do it. And so, yeah, I Zelled him the money and it showed up 3 days later.
Wow.
Wow.
So how does it feel owning
a piece of history
once by a celebrity?
Every time I get in it, it's like immediately I hate women. It's like I get in and I'm just like, oh, feminism is the absolute antichrist.
And you feel that wind in your curls.
Yep. My hair has been falling out too. Like as I go in, it's like slowly falling out. And so it's been good. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Careful with that.
It smells like an old dusty car.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty gross. But it is it's a historical figure.
A piece of history. Yeah.
But don't usually, when people are trying to sell a car, don't they usually get it detailed, cleaned up like a house, And
Guys,
you wouldn't
Cody
believe
did
here's
nothing.
the thing.
How dirty it is and what all was left behind.
There are so many treasures inside of this car. Like, I mean, and
it's like they knew we wanted it.
Yeah.
They knew we wanted it dirty and not cleaned out.
Yeah. And I could not be more grateful.
They just put it on the truck and they left everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any like love notes to their.
We recently stumbled upon a note. I'm not going to tell you who it was from but
it was a handwritten note.
It's a handwritten note. And it's been, it's fun.
We've got to go through it all. We're going to go through it all and make a video of everything we find in it.
There's that much stuff in there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff.
Wow.
I mean, celebrity.
We've had these cars for so long, and it's like we just now stumbled across a handwritten letter. Who knows what else is hiding in here?
Wow,
treasure.
It's like the Sister Wives gods really are rewarding you for all your hard work.
That's right.
Yeah,
they're like, you deserve this, guy.
Lord. I lift your name on high.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't Sister Wives, but I am very curious about the two of you. Like, what's it? Because this was supposed to be like a lark. Right. And, the podcast. And so what's it like for the two of you now to work together you're together all day long, talking to each other?
We've never not worked together. I couldn't imagine not working together. Like we've always been self-employed. We've always worked for ourselves.
Owned our own businesses together. So we're used to that. And people are always like, how do you do that? But I think I don't know. We're just
I go to the grocery store and I call Katelyn like on my way there. Like we're together all day. And then she'll answer and she's like, what? And
there may be an issue with us.
I'm like, well, I had to tell you something that happened. You know that neighbor down the street? And she's like, yes. I'm like, well, I was going to forget if I didn't tell you right now. And so I have to tell her some stupid story. Like we are literally together 24/7. And we've been this way since like right out of high school. Yeah. And we first met her freshman year of high school, my sophomore year. And we've really
and right out of high school, we started working together on our photography business. So we're just used to it. And
it's crazy.
I don't know. Cause people are like, I could never, I don't want to be around my husband that much. And I'm like, I don't know. It's nice. We like it.
I couldn't imagine when I hear people like, oh, my husband travels like 3 weeks out of the month. And I'm like, oh my God. When I had to go on a little special trip, back in October to Moab, I had to go by myself, and I called Katelyn. I got my rental car, which was a big deal that I did all this by myself. And I call her along the drive, and I'm like, I just don't want to do it. Just like and she's like,
we may be a little codependent.
Yeah, big time. And she was like, have you gotten Taco Bell yet? I'm like, no, I'm gonna go get it right now. She's like, you'll feel better after Taco Bell. Like, just get the food.
You're hungry.
Oh,
it's the source of most of your problems is you're hungry.
Yeah, that is true.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet. It works. It works for you. So, That's very sweet.
I mean, we saw a lot of right during the pandemic, right? People were getting divorced left and right. They're like, "Oh my god, I hate this person. Like, I can't stand them. I'm with them all day long. Like, I was just short spurts."
I did an extra year of. So Katelyn's a year younger than me in school, so I did an extra year of community college because I didn't want to go to university by myself. And I wanted to go with her. So I was just like, I'll just do like an extra year. It's fine. Then we can go together and enter into the program together. We have the same degree because we didn't want to do a separate degree. Like we just...
Same classes.
Yeah. Every single class we had together.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how to not be always together.
That's just our thing.
Wow.
Did you guys go to school in Flagstaff? Did you go to NAU?
So we did go to NAU, but we did the extended campus, so it was down in Phoenix.
Yeah.
But
our degree is from NAU.
We will absolutely tell our children one day. We'll bring them up to campus and
we'll say we lived there.
This is where we used to go to like fraternity parties. Like we'll lie about
this is our dorm.
Yeah. Lie through our teeth about
We'll
that.
make it sound cooler than it was.
Yeah. I've also contemplated telling our kids, like, you know, we went to like big school, Stanford, but then I'm like, the more and more we do this podcast, the more stupid I realize we are. And they're going to be like, that's not true. I realize how much the Arizona school system has failed us. We are
especially in geography.
Oh, geography and history is the worst.
Oh gosh. Do you get a lot of like people commenting about that?
Yes,
yeah, but
they're like, please never get better at it. We're like, okay.
What I find so crazy about us is like we will talk about like big things like the what is the United Kingdom? And we'll just leave it there. We're like, I don't know what it is. I have no idea what the United Kingdom actually is. But then like last week, I felt the need to call Chili's on the podcast because I needed to know if their menus, because we got in an argument. Caitlin said their menus were plastic. I said they're laminated. And so I got on the phone, right? I'm like we care so much about the stupid stuff, but it's like the big stuff. We're like, nah, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. I don't need to know what
there's something wrong with us.
What exactly the United Kingdom is. Yeah.
No.
Well, I love you guys had a discussion, I don't know, a week or two ago about what is Prince William's last name?
Oh my God. Do you know it off the top of your head?
Well, no, I know it's like
something
Windsor, Montemblot. You know, there's like 5 or 6 names. But it's true. I was with you there because it's like, I don't know. But then I think Katelyn said, isn't it Middleton? And then I was like,
Kate's name.
I was like, no. I know for sure it's not Middleton.
Yeah, if you're coming to us though for like your news, it's like, oh, you're in a low spot in life, you know?
Yeah.
We're doing low level trash TV. That's why we hold on to Sister Wives, you know?
Yeah.
Bottom of the barrel.
Exactly.
Well, what has been your favorite Sister Wives adventure, assignment, road trip? Again, if you can talk about it, I don't know.
I think that, I mean, there's a point where it's like, have you gone too far? And it's like, oh, probably. But I think me getting an invite to Christine's wedding was like a big moment in my life. Almost being arrested, hiding out, like hiding in my car without the air on, like, you know, just living my best life, having to hide in bushes.
That was definitely the moment we went too far.
Too far. Absolutely too far. But I was grateful for the invitation. I was grateful that I could be there.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
It's been a great day.
I have to say, my favorite adventure of yours was when the two of you were watching, I don't know where you were, but you were watching Cody went over to Mary's house and the two of you were watching them and just to hear is she there? Is that what's happening? What's going on?
And
I don't know.
We just happened.
Everybody keeps asking. They're like, did that air yet? And I'm like, no, because this breakup happens.
We just happened to be doing we went up to Flagstaff and we were like making the rounds, of course, you know, looking around, seeing what we see. And we just are like, what the heck? Cody's truck is parked at Mary's house. Like, this is news.
In our head, we were like, oh my God, they're getting back together.
Yeah.
And then the next day it dropped their announcement that they were divorcing.
Oh, they were writing their divorce statement together.
Yeah, they were practicing their script.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, what graphic do you think we should do on the background? Okay, Christine's had a nature background. Should we go nature? And Mary's like, I was thinking Disneyland. And he was like, Mary, we can't do Disneyland. Okay, this is not a happy post. So yeah,
we're really hoping for Janelle to do one, but I feel like she's probably like, yeah, we don't need to do any formal announcement.
No, I don't think, but I think of all of them, she seems to be most committed to the faith. That's the sense I get with Janelle. And I think she doesn't want to do it because, again, she doesn't want a second divorce.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
She's just like, I just won't talk to you and we won't be around each other, but I don't want to officially separate.
I think now she says it. Like now
she says she's separated, but she doesn't want to do the announcement.
Yeah, no.
She's like, social media.
Too much work. Honestly, she's like, I'm going to have to find a graphic. I'm going to have to sign up for Canva. If I don't pay, then I'm just going to have the Canva logo on it. Like, it's just too much. You know, she's not there. She's not there for that.
Well, let's pivot over to a show that's, Sister Wives adjacent, which is one of the best shows, I think, of all time. Seeking Sister Wife.
Oh, God. That's a doozy of a show. That's all I can say every time I watch it. It's like,
This season,
I am wetting my panties.
It is so good. The Merrifields, never been better.
Yeah,
Danielle secretly recording Garrick.
Yes. I just watched that. The last scene of the last episode, we see a completely different Garrick. It's like, wait a minute. And
I didn't finish it yet. So, I got something to look for.
It's really
good. How he usually is like blank staring and doing like a soft voice.
And he's always
it was gone.
Danielle, we have to do what Jesus came into the garage during our workout and have to do. But then in this secret recording, he's like, Danielle, I don't know what you want me to say. You're getting upset. I'm like, he was just so like, I mean, honestly, it wasn't that nasty, but in comparison to his fake voice and stuff, like he seemed like a totally different person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she did too. She's very upset that obviously this Natalia doesn't give a crap. It doesn't really care about
to be on the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why Natalia's there, is that she wants to be on the show.
I think so.
Or
she really digs money.
Yeah, she really digs Garrick. He's going down there for a month to be with her.
I'm so irritated by the fact, I'm like, you were just on vacation. And now you're going to go again?
How dare you?
And Danielle does not want this at all. I'm like, at what point are you going to stand up for yourself and say no?
And you guys know that sometime between now and current time, they have a baby, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, where is this baby? When are we going to finally talk about it?
Secret baby somewhere.
And I feel like this baby was like their way of getting into season 6. They're like, we'll talk about the baby in season 6. I'm sure the cliffhanger for this episode is going to be Danielle with a pea stick, and she's going to be like, Garrick? And then he's going to be like, yes, Danielle, did God give you a message you want me to give me? And then it'll cut to like the end of the show and we have to come back next season to find out.
Oh, I gave you my Holy Ghost.
Yeah, the Holy Ghost, it worked. It
went to your brain and your uterus.
I filled you right up. Oh, good.
Well, yeah, I also wondered, did she do that on purpose to try to keep him there or something? You know what I mean?
But I'm like, why does she want him? At this point, she should leave. He won't listen to her. He won't do what she says. She doesn't want a sister wife. It's very obvious.
When I see him in those gigolo sunglasses, I'm always just like, girl, go. Like that's enough of a red flag for me.
Or his tank top.
Yeah, the tank tops.
Yeah.
I mean,
and his big cowboy boots.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. He looks
speaking of Seeking Sister Wife, do you guys agree with the statement that Justin Ryan / Kaneen, because their last name's not actually Ryan, do you think that he looks like a giant toddler? Like this is, I'm fixated on this.
Yes. When you said that, I was like, yes, that's it.
That
is
it. Do you think he wears diapers?
I wouldn't be surprised, but he is a little bit like a baby.
Yes.
He is a bit,
where's my apple juice, Mom?
But even the thing of going to see Stephanie and he wants Stephanie so bad, but I'm going to wait in the car. Yeah. You go, Mom. You go deal with this. You asked her if she wants to date me. And
I want to know too, does he breastfeed on her? Or what? What's going on there? It's disgusting, but it's a question.
I just can't believe that they stalked that woman. She's like, don't come. And they were like, okay, we'll drive 16 hours.
I know. That's like a crime.
Unhinged.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe it's like an hour drive. And they were like, we'll listen to a good podcast on the way there. No, 16 hours they drove to see someone who was like, please don't come.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm here with my new boyfriend.
And this is coming from someone who got on a plane, then drove 2 hours to Moab to go to a wedding that I was maybe or maybe not invited to. You know, like that is creepy behavior, and this is coming from me. You know.
Becky scares me because you know Becky was raised by Tony.
Like one of the
another cult leader.
Cult leader, and the mother, who also seems to be either completely controlled or kooky or something. And the fact that Becky's saying, "Oh, I didn't see anything bad happen in my childhood." She's got a little bit of that Christine kind of blinders on. But when you see her operating, you're like, "Oh, you're not the sweet, innocent little like girl."
No.
You know, she's
like the ringleader. Like, if she's like, let me get you in.
It was so weird to hear because we didn't find out about her dad until after she had that episode where she was like, you know, I got married young, and where we grew up, it was normal to get married young. And I'm like,
in high school,
but 12 people were 12 getting married. That's not normal. Like, we didn't. I thought you meant like, oh, we graduate high school and we get married, and you guys were like lowest of the low age getting married. No, you didn't mention that there were 9-year-olds getting married off. Okay, like that's a different story.
Yeah,
so creepy.
Well, and this is their weird dynamic, which is why when you said Justin looked like a baby, I was like, yes, because he is the baby. Like, she is the one like pushing him, getting him to do anything. And I think he's just like, I get to sleep with other women? Okay. You know, like he's just kind of like, all right.
You set up the date for me, Mom.
Mom, can you go over and ask her for her number, Mom? I'm so scared.
Ask her if she likes me.
Yeah.
She think I'm cute.
Hey, Mom, can you make sure to put that cream on my balls again? I'm having a little dryness. Gross. Do you guys think that Nayla is the most gorgeous person that's ever been on TLC?
Oh yeah, for
yes.
sure.
She is very beautiful. I don't know about what's going on with those two. And I think Naeem's got a little bit of anger issues. Like the way he treats his mom is really like justice for this mother. It's like, okay, she has the right to her opinion. She has the right to not be okay with this. Why do you keep asking her to come over to your house to like chastise her because she's not accepting of you?
Because they have nobody else to film with or anything. That I think that this week might have been their last week, because at the end of the episode this week, they're talking about how, well, you know, it didn't work out with that girl that they met, whatever her name was. But they're going to keep seeking because they think it's for them. It sort of sounded like they were wrapping it up.
No, because there's still a fight to come. Listen, I have a radar. Like, when they do trailers, like if there's a fight happening, I put it in my brain. I'm like, I'll never forget this moment because I want to see it happen. And there's a fight that they get in at an outside, like they're at a restaurant, but they're sitting outside and they're sitting around a table and people start fighting and someone stands up. And
who are they fighting with?
I don't remember. Okay. I don't know. But I just know that it's coming still. So they still have something left. And I
was hoping they were wrapping up because I think they're the most boring on this season so far.
I think Jamila's the grandma. Never. I don't think Jamila's the hottest person, but I think Nayla is just so gorgeous. I don't care what happens.
I know, but I like it better when people come with like an established sister wife. Like, I don't really like to see people go on like one date and have it not work out.
Are you guys missing Sidian and Tasha?
Well, I didn't watch it. You did last time. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I never really got into them.
They're pretty boring too.
Yeah, unlike our friend Amy Archer, who's in love with Sidian, I don't find him attractive.
But the weird thing is like Tasha gives me those same vibes as Becky. Like she's like, she almost comes across as like a Stepford wife, but it's like in the way of like, are you medicated way too much?
Yeah.
You know, something's a little off there.
And she's like setting people up, almost like she's like a kidnapper.
Yeah, she's a Ghislaine.
Yeah. She's like, come on over to our house. We'll keep you here forever.
Yeah. She's a little too chill about the whole thing. Like, oh, yeah, sure. You know, like emotionless. Like,
yes.
Yeah. We want more people like Danielle who are unhinged
we
about
like
the situation.
Drama.
Yeah.
And, you know, with the Davises, what I'm enjoying is that, you know, I feel like we've barely seen Nick this season because it's all about that, you know, like the power dynamic is clearly shifted. It's April and Jen, but mostly April. Like, they run this show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. April showed her true colors. I feel like I was like, oh, she's the boss here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the folding the laundry scene, which was a little bit of The Godfather. Like, don't do that again. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
You know, like, what's going to happen?
Promise me you won't leave.
But this
then she was like, you got your own apartment without my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you get the money?
Figure out how to get the money.
Yeah. So
You found out
that's
the
telling you
password?
something too, which is basically what she's saying is that you have money that we don't know about.
Yeah.
What's going
and
on?
I have this crazy theory, and again, this is all made up. It's alleged, but it's just for fun, so no one sue me. But I have this theory that Nick, at some point, he got hit by like a city bus or something, had this traumatic head injury, so he sued the state, got
That's
a
why he
big
thinks
lump
he's a
sum of
time
money,
traveler.
but he also gets a disability check. So April, I've thought this whole time, oh, Nick's the mastermind. But now that I see, I'm like, oh no, April found him. She probably worked for the city, was issuing the disability check. She's like, I'm going to find this guy. I'm going to make him bump into me, and we're going to meet. We're going to fall in love. And then I'm going to bring him under my wing. I'm going to get his disability checks. Then they kidnap Jen, because Jen is absolutely kidnapped. She's too scared to even speak. And she starts working for April. It's like April has this insane MLM downline going on, and it's her family.
Yeah.
And then she got Danielle, who we believe had like an inheritance from her family or something. And she found out about it. And so she was like, I'll take you in too and take control of all your money as well.
If you guys had to guess, I mean, we don't know, but what would you think that Danielle Davis does for work? Because we believe it's a dog groomer.
Yeah, didn't she say she was a dog groomer?
I don't think so.
I don't know if we just that's
or
the
did you
hard
guys
thing
just
about
make
us.
that up and we don't know?
I think we just make this shit up, and then I don't know what's true and what's reality and what's.
But that I was thinking in my mind, I kept thinking hairdresser. I was thinking something like that. So dog groomer could
be
work.
It's close.
She's a hairdresser to the canines.
Yes,
but I think you're absolutely right about Nick, because Nick's not altogether there.
No,
and
he thinks he's really smart though, but.
Yeah, no, he's just off in space, you know.
Yeah.
He's in
He's
outer
home
space.
researching.
Right.
We need more people researching.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But the whole thing, right, is the pyramid is, I think that the goal for April is to not have to work anymore, to not have to go to work. And so this Danielle thing, it's pissing her off, because it's like, hello, I want to stop working. You need to get, we need to get more women in here. And
it's like, when those MLM ladies get in their Facebook groups and they're like, ladies, hey girlies, we need to be selling, ladies. Okay. Some of you guys are not really working hard. And I understand, Trisha, that your son did have a serious traumatic injury and he's been in the hospital, but don't forget, people want their leggings. Okay. Remember, nothing makes you feel better than leggings.
Always be closing,
Always be closing, ladies. That's what we say. Boss babes, love y'all. Bye.
Because basically, she and Danielle are folding laundry, and they say, she agrees, okay, we'll give you some time. And then this latest episode, it's like, oh, we've been gone for a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks since I had my conversation with Danielle. And sure enough, sit her down again. Okay, you ready? Like, really? Did you think 2 or 3 weeks was going to be it? But that's the thing. I don't know what it is. It's like, are you desperate to not work anymore? Do you want to control the situation?
I also
She's
think them and like the Merrifields are like set on 5 wives. And like, why did you come up with that number? And that's a lot.
Probably something in their fake Bible or whatever.
Maybe.
I say this from the sweetest place in my heart, but I do think that Danielle would be so easy to bamboozle. Like I could convince her of anything.
April definitely knows how to pick them.
Oh,
yeah. She's a master at what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer Danielle can hold on, or hold off on this. I mean, she's trying, but yeah, they're really coming down on her. I feel sorry for her. Like after they smashed all that stuff, and they're sitting there, and then the two of them are ganging up on her, and she's just like.
She just wants to eat her nachos or whatever that was.
She's like a deer in headlights. I mean, she doesn't have the mental strength to go up against.
We keep saying, we're like, where is her family? Like, where are her parents? Where is someone telling her, like, what are you doing?
That's why I think she got an inheritance. Everyone's dead. And no one's there to help her.
Nobody watching out for her.
Okay, you mentioned the nachos. Did you guys not think that was the most full plates you've ever seen at a restaurant before? Like, I could
so much food.
I swear,
it was a lot of food.
Whoever got the tacos had like 15 tacos on their plate. Like, is this an appetizer or what? Like, I've never seen so many tacos on one plate. It really drove me crazy.
April's like, you get a lot of bang for your buck at this restaurant.
I guess.
Yeah. April's gonna take that home. Everyone's gonna have it for lunch the next day.
Yeah.
She's
gonna
ration
it might
out.
have some.
Yeah. Well, and then I really do. I love blanking on their last names right now, but the Shane and Ashley.
Oh, I'm obsessed.
Those two are
guys,
characters.
When Shane said, I'm dealing with some health issues, and I'm like, is he gonna die?
Yeah, he's like, I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
What does that mean?
No, but I mean, also, I don't know if you guys watch Real Housewives, but like Karen Huger milked that she had 5% calcium buildup in her. You know, like, is he being like that, or is there something really going on?
I don't know. And why don't we know about it? Like,
yeah. No, it was something that was just kind of slipped into the last episode. But I just think it was hilarious when Ashley went on that date with Sarah, the second person she went out with, and she kisses her and she's like, oh, this is what it feels like when you're attracted to somebody.
No, poor Shane.
But honestly, like, would you be attracted to Shane either?
No. But
I do love that they're doing it so differently, though. Like, I love that she's going to get the wife and he's just going to be like sister wives with the new wife.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I love the twist of that.
And didn't she say, isn't she a therapist?
She's a psychiatrist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You log onto your appointment and you're like, I just saw you last night on TLC. Honestly, like, I should try and book an appointment with her.
You should.
Yeah, where do they live? What state are they in?
Oh, they're in Boston. They're outside of Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Too far. Too far.
Yeah,
I mean, she could go on the show with that job. Seems
yeah,
like
I don't know what she's thinking because
it's not going to go well for her.
Yeah, and she's a doctor, and you worked so hard. I mean, you worked very hard to get to where you are. It looks like you're relatively young. Like, you're going to blow it now?
Yeah,
and just throw caution to the wind.
On a TLC show.
But I also think, like, I would. I shouldn't say this, but like, I want to book an appointment. You know? Maybe it's great for her business.
Maybe.
Because honestly, like the mentally ill people like myself, we're the ones who want to book her. You know, it's like, oh, she found her perfect clientele. We're watching these shows that have zero meaning and point, and we also have to see a psychiatrist. It's like,
you're like, yeah, I'm doing good, but how about you? How's Shane?
I don't know how's things going with Shane.
Yeah. How's Shane dealing with all this?
But yeah, they are very different, and I definitely think they make the group so much better. I think that's one of the reasons, because I've watched the show in the past. I think I watched part of the first season, and if you kind of need a variety in order to keep your interest going. You kind of need a variety of situations of things.
You need like a religious family and one that's not religious, and like you need.
I felt like there was a point there where we really got away from any religion, and I don't like that. I don't like when there's no religion aspect to it, because, you know, like the Winter Winders, they were so boring. They spoke 5 words their entire season, but it was interesting to just see, like, you know, like when we had the Snowdens, we knew what that was for. You know, that was for Dimitri to get it wet. Like, he was just looking to bang it out. But I love when we have religious people on it, because it brings it back kind of like to Sister Wives. And I find it so interesting. As someone who knows nothing about religion, I find it interesting to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
It takes all kinds.
So real quick about back to the Ryans for a second. So did you remember them saying that we have been looking for a sister wife for years and years and years, forever?
Yes.
And they've never been able to do it. So that, I mean, or seal the deal. Yeah. Is that what you think's happening? That they've been looking for sister wives for, 10 years? Or is it more of like, oh, well, our kids are grown now, so we're going to do it now?
I think they said there was somebody else before Stephanie at some point. I don't know.
Nobody wants to be with the big toddler.
No. You know? And have you seen their house? Like, can you imagine you go over for a date and you're like, ooh.
It's so
the hoarder.
They're very cluttery. And then of course, she's selling you on her MLM, that hand thing. That was
product placement that was, which is like, I'm gonna check your alkaline levels or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
But the best thing is it's her thing that she's measuring, and he says, well, it's working because my alkaline levels have gone down, and it's like, and now that's, thank God I'm taking these supplements. He said something to the effect, and I'm like, she could just calibrate the thing differently, I mean, this is not exact science, but he's taking it as that.
Did you watch the documentary where, what was it? Where the lady turns blue at the end?
Yes.
Oh, Love Has Won.
Yes. Love Has Won or whatever.
Yes.
They're like, see, look at, she's still here. Look at the radiation level coming off of her.
Right.
That's because she was full of silver.
Right.
Her body was all silver.
Like, she's clearly dead.
They're
she's
like,
vibrating.
She's still here. She's vibrating with us now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, she's just.
That was one of the wildest things I've ever watched.
That was a good one. I always think when I think of that documentary, I always think about like who stayed in that hotel room after she was dead in that bed. Because they didn't tell the front office.
No.
You know? They didn't tell room service.
Someone got right into that comforter.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So they don't wash the comforters.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They're like, why is this so
There's
much
like a
blue
dead
shit
silver
on here?
lady on top of it.
That was really about, right? Like somebody sort of setting themselves up to die, right? Because she told them all, don't take me to the hospital, don't rescue me, don't do this. And, she ultimately died of her own con.
Yeah.
But then she was like, take me to the hospital. And they were like, no.
Oh, you're
No,
so
like,
No, you told us not
No.
to. You told us not to. And we're listening to you, Mother Love.
Mother
You
Love,
know?
she's testing us right now.
Mother
And
Love.
we want to make sure we listen to what Mother Love
And when
told
they
us
just
to
prop her
do.
up in the back of the car.
In a sleep, roll her up in the sleeping.
We're just
bag.
waiting for the UFO to come get her. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are crazy.
Do you ever wonder like what happens to someone to get to that point in life where you believe that?
Yeah. A lot of trauma.
Yeah, I
A
don't
lot.
even want to think about it.
Well, and I think that's also you notice that a lot of these people were young, right? It's a combination of youth and trauma and just a desperate loneliness
They're
and a
looking to belong.
desperation for meaning in their lives. And, for some people, it's just easier to just I'll worship this person versus like unpacking my own life or asking myself, what do I want? Or doing things myself. There's a lot of people that just want to be so passive because they feel like they either have to or that's the only thing they can do.
I'm so grateful I don't want friends. Like that's a big thing that would keep me out of a cult, Like I don't want to be around other people. And Caitlin, honestly, like Caitlin and I would go to like a cult meeting and we just like make fun of everyone after. And
And then we'd be like, we're never going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're safe.
And sometimes we
the
hang out with
best.
friends and we're like, never again.
Okay, well, let's move on because
Yes.
I do want to get to the Jeff and Heather
Yes.
discussion because I know you guys. I heard you guys say when I first started listening to you that you were big Jeff Lewis fans,
Oh, yeah.
and then I heard you talk about it a little bit when all this stuff went down, and so I'm fans of both of them. I started listening to Jeff Lewis's show like right around the time that he and Gage broke up. And so I kind of went through all that with him. And then I felt like kind of bonded when then I became a
Trauma
fan.
bonded with him.
Yeah, I was trauma bonded with him and became a fan of that show. And Tess and I both have always been a fan of Juicy Scoop. And we've
Heather
seen
McDonald. Juicy Scoop.
Juicy Scoop. Yeah, we've seen her in concert, and I'm not like a super fan, but I do really enjoy her, and I like her, and I actually like the friendship that she had with Jeff. I felt like when it's a true, genuine friendship that goes back to
They were friends in college.
Yeah. So. When all that went down, it was kind of like, I don't know what to do. It's like your two best friends are fighting.
I'm in the middle side,
Yeah.
I think the thing is so we've been friends with Jeff way back when Flipping Out first started. Like I can remember watching Flipping Out on Bravo and just like falling in love with this absolute psycho.
Mm-hmm.
And so
in the divorce we had to pick
it's funny because like we have certain celebrities we will always apologize for. Like it's Erica Jane, horrible things. And did she steal money right out of the pockets of widows and
we don't know
orphans?
that she knew, okay?
But it's like, you know what though? But I like her and she's fun. But when it comes to the Jeff Heather thing, the reason why I feel like I go towards Jeff is because Heather has a personality trait. I love Heather. I love Juicy Scoop. We've listened to Juicy Scoop forever. And like from when it we loved Heather when she was on Chelsea Lately. She was always my favorite one on there. She did the best impressions. The one thing that I know for certain about Heather's personality that is something I cannot accept from anyone is when you're talking to them and they're looking around the room for who's the next best person to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's always looking for like, oh, I'm friends with you. Oh, another celebrity's coming and I'm going to
like she'll ditch you for a higher level celebrity.
Yeah. And do I know Jeff is an absolute psycho? Yeah, but I love him. So it's just.
Well, that's good. We can be, so we have realistic. I think that's a realistic approach to it because I don't see it as one versus the other. I maybe this is controversial. I don't know. I feel like they let like all these other people come in between them, especially Krista. Like the whole thing stemmed from Krista coming in on the radio show and telling Jeff a lot of stuff that turned out to not be true. And then Jeff just kind of went with it. And then he took it too far. And then it was like irretrievably broken. And
But let me ask
here's
you
the
this.
thing, though.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why I feel like I more so believe Jeff's side is because Justin Martindale and Heather were besties and they've had the falling out. Sarah Colonna is now on Jeff's show and not on Heather's show anymore. And they were friends for a long time. I'm just like, why
But
are all
also,
these
if you
people
look
who've
at
been
Jeff,
friends
I
for
mean,
so
Jeff has
long?
had 8 million best friends who've all
No, that's true.
disappeared.
Right.
He hates now.
He was out on the outs with Krista for several years.
True.
They didn't speak.
True.
My whole thing with the earrings, though, is that Heather knew she lost the earrings and never said anything. Whether you thought they were $10 or you thought they were $10,000, you borrow something from someone. How do you not say, like, I am so sorry I lost this? And Heather or Krista has so much money. I don't think she would have cared either way. But the fact that you never owned up to it, that's what always pissed me off. It's just like,
And then she got caught in like a lie because she was like, oh, like, I didn't know. And then she's like, yeah, but you were like, you now have this video of like one falling off. And then you said you looked for it. So you did know you lost it.
yeah.
I don't know. It didn't make sense because she was saying, I didn't know I lost it. But it's like, but then she said she asked the wait staff and stuff at that restaurant to like look for it. So
Are
like,
they
you did
both
know they were lost.
probably toxic people who are self-absorbed? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's choosing which evil you want.
Yeah, it just got so out of control, and all the and then all the defections and the Brandy Julie thing, and it just got so much, and it was just like, it's sad, all these people like together. I like Brandy and Julie on Jeff's show. I like I liked Heather on Jeff's show. I think the stuff with Sarah Colonna and Justin Martindale, that's a little bit weird. I don't really understand.
Because
that.
Like if you listen to Juicy Scoop on a regular basis, you do know that Heather has a lot of friends and has long-term friends. So, it's like, I know she can keep friends. I also think that, I worked in Hollywood many, many years ago, but that whole thing of like looking at you and then who else is here kind of thing, that is, everyone does that. It's like just part of the culture. And I think that at the core, they are both needy celebrities, needy people that want, attention and want people to pay, to care about them. And I think that there was it sounds like there was some miscommunication from the beginning that just like got out of control. It just became like a wildfire. And I think if they had different personalities, I don't think this would have ever come to light. I think they would have squashed it.
Psych Legal Pop will be right back after these messages.
Are you feeling lost or uncertain about your future? It's time to discover the true you. This is Tess Brigham from Psych Legal Pop podcast, and I want to tell you about my book, True You. In True You, I delve into the 6 key issues we all face during our quarter-life crises. From career dilemmas to relationship struggles, this book provides simple tools and techniques to navigate each challenge. True You is your roadmap to personal growth. Even if you're not experiencing a quarter-life crisis, True You will help you get to know yourself on a deeper level. If you're ready to unlock your true potential and create a life you love, pick up your copy of True You today. You can find more information on my website, www.tessbrigham.com, or it's available to purchase at Amazon.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
But
I also don't think it was really Jeff's issue to begin with. Like, he didn't really need to get involved. He had nothing to do with the earrings.
Yeah.
No, but he just, I mean,
he just put himself
Jeff
in there.
loves drama. But I will say when it comes to Brandy and Julie, I think Jeff was wrong. Like, I think he absolutely
Well, it's hard when you hear two sides of the story and then you're like, oh, and then you listen to their side and you're like, oh, like we listened to their Patreon about it and we're like, sounds like they got some points.
I just love people fighting. You know, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's just,
as long as it's not me. As long as
I'm not fighting.
Yeah. I was more sad about that though, because I did love them on Jeff
so much.
Yeah.
And also too, do you think that the problems with them, I always felt like it had more to do with the Sirius XM people. You know, that
the way she talked about Alyssa.
Yeah.
And she was so Alyssa was the producer of Channel 728 or whatever. And Julie and Brandy were talking about Alyssa and they were like, you know, the producer just wanted to be on the show more. They wanted you to hear her voice.
Yeah,
more.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh,
it did sound like they had a lot of problems with the Sirius execs. Like that was what caused a lot of it, more so than just them fighting with Jeff.
Yeah, the execs wanted a certain type of after show, and they wanted a different type. But the execs had promised them that they could do what they wanted to. I don't know. It just sounds like all a big mess, and then all these friendships got
And I think that
burned.
I'm a little more team Heather because I don't listen to Jeff Lewis regularly, and I'm a juicy scooper, so I do sort of lean towards Heather. But and Brooke, you were talking about this, right? With Jeff talking every day, he was getting on the air talking shit about Gage and the custody battle, and I just get the sense that Jeff takes a thread and like blows it up. Just takes a small thing and he's very impulsive.
Oh yeah. Well, and then he'll talk about how he
impulsive.
lost like 7 great friends in like a month span. It's like, well, maybe you're the problem.
But that's not his fault. That was someone read it because they're all snakes. I'm like, Jeff, there's a point in which, he's just someone you gotta love him.
We love to listen to him, but sometimes we're even like, okay, this is your own fault.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an entertaining show, but sometimes you're just like, oh God, stop talking, stop talking, stop talking about this. This is going to cost you $100,000.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe how much money he spends on lawyers over the stupidest stuff with his ex.
Have you guys, though? I'm curious. Like, have you ever in your life, personal experience, had a huge falling out with a very close friend?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not like this. Usually with friends, I just kind of let them fade away.
Yeah.
You just kind of like, oh, you're a little, when you start to put some things together, like, oh yeah, you're very needy, or you're this, or you're that, you just kind of slowly back off. That's what I do.
I ghost people.
Yeah.
If someone is not working like their energy or whatever, I just kind of ghost them.
Yeah.
I'm really not into getting into a big confrontation about, well, this is what I don't like about you and you did this to me and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's just not my personality.
So I think that's how most people operate. I think most of us are just like, nah, we're not going to...
We'll just let it fade away.
And I think part of what we do is we try to fade away and we're like, well, if they care about the friendship, then they'll reach out. And then I know they actually care about it, whatever. There's got to be something with the psyche of these two people that every time they end a friendship, it is a huge explosion. Like they're not
it's a pattern.
So do we know what happened with Heather and Sarah Colonna? Because all of a sudden she just was on Jeff's show, and then you kind of realize like, oh, she hasn't been on the show in a long time on Heather's show.
No,
I feel like we don't know, but we just have put the pieces together that she's now on Jeff's show and she's not on Heather's anymore. That there must be something going on.
I think the big one that stands out to me though is Heather and Chelsea Handler, and Heather is every single time she's always the victim of whatever this person did, and I just feel like there's a lack of self-awareness when I can look at every friendship that I've ever had and that ended badly. And I'm also like a drama queen like these two. So I usually have big breakups, but I can look at what I've done wrong. I can take accountability and be like, yeah, I fucked that up. Yes, I did that. Like, I just don't feel like Heather does that, but I do feel like Jeff does that. Even if it's months after, he's like, yeah, I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that. And again, I'm a Jeff apologist through and through, forever and always.
But the thing with Heather and Chelsea was, Chelsea said something that Heather said was not true, that she lied about.
On Howard Stern.
She went on Howard Stern and said that Heather McDonald was selling stories about her to the tabloids. That's a pretty big accusation, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when Heather was like, no, absolutely not. This is not true. And then Chelsea kept repeating it. And at first Heather said, well, I'm just going to let this go. This will blow over. But it didn't. And Chelsea kept repeating it, and it got out of control, which is why she said when that thing happened with Meghan, she wanted to try to get out in front of it tell her side of the story before Meghan could tell her story on Jeff's show. So,
yeah.
And Heather has said that situation with Meghan is something that's happened to her before. I do think I'm with you in the sense that I don't know if I would want to be Heather McDonald's friend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that
you have to listen to her, but I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah. I mean, 2 hours a week or whatever in Patreon is fine with me. There's a little bit, she talks about this, like her parents, told her that she was beautiful and she could do no wrong and she's amazing and great and all this stuff. And she admits this, like she kind of goes into the world. And I think she is someone who's like, hi, let me oh, you're a new friend. Let me get your number. Oh, I'm so wonderful. Like, I don't know if she does have a good sense of awareness of how people perceive her. And then you've got that. And then you've got Jeff, who is so, who can be more reflective, but he is so impulsive. And his go-to is anger and and flipping out, like sarcasm.
That's his issue too. It's like he'll talk about things right away. And it's like, well, maybe pump the brakes on that till you like talk to your lawyer.
Can you imagine what it's like to walk into every room and think everyone likes you? Like I walk into every room and I'm like, everyone hates me.
I've never thought that.
Like I've never walked in and been like, oh, everyone's so glad I'm here. I'm like, God, everyone hates me. I should just shut up and never talk again.
Not familiar with that. No.
I don't want to be in that world.
Why don't we just, if you have a couple more minutes, maybe just talk a little bit about Housewives. Now, I love Housewives. I just don't have the time to watch it. Tess is more up on
a little bit. I was really hopeful for this season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then I just got very disinterested. I mean, I was a big Housewife fan for a long, long time, and then somehow 2020 came around, and I'm like, our world is burning. Like I cannot watch these women fight. I just can't. And then once I got off the train, I was like, oh, I have a lot more free time for these other shows.
I don't ever want to get off that
I don't want to have free time.
There is, we literally fall asleep I usually turn on a reunion of any city at any season because it's just the reunions are my favorite because everyone's fighting the whole time. And it's like, that's what lulls us to sleep at night. It's just like,
it's our lullaby.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, thank God.
So what's your favorite franchise?
Right now, Salt Lake.
Yeah, Salt Lake. Beverly Hills was boring last season. I had high hopes.
Yeah.
But it just turned out to be kind of a flop. Yeah. But Salt Lake you can't go wrong.
No.
We tell everybody. We're always like recruiting people. We're like, start with Salt Lake. It's shorter. You can bust through it.
When you get to season 3, know that it's kind of a snooze fest, but season 4 picks up and it's the best season of all time. Here's my history with Real Housewives. Real Housewives of Orange County premiered on March 21st, 2006. That is my Sweet 16. And do you know what I did on my Sweet 16? I watched Real Housewives of Orange County. Like
Me too.
This show and we are one and the same.
You guys
we've grown up together, honestly. And so I could never leave it. And I say all the time, I'm like, even if they did some shitty podunk town Real Housewives, I'm going to be... What is that?
We watch them all.
If there is, if they have no fans left, then I am dead because I will be there until the very end of this train wreck.
Never heard that quote before.
No, it's bigger. It's like if so and so only has 100 fans, then I am 1 in 100 or something, and then they go down to if they have no fans, then I must be dead.
Okay,
and that's how I feel.
I watched beautiful. OC. From season 1, episode 1. And I mean that's just the classic. And then
it's still, and I still love OC.
Been that good, but
even though it's terrible, I still watch it. Yeah,
I still like to watch it because it's just I don't know the nostalgia. And then my second favorite thing is the core 5 New York people like Luann, Ramona, Sonia. That when they went to St. Bart's, I mean, let's just send them on vacations.
Yes,
once every 3 months, let's just send them somewhere. Film it, I could watch that all day, every day. Because you don't really have to like follow the plot or follow along. You just kind of like turn it on and just watch them be crazy. And
they're great TV. Like we can't not. I know we have the new New York, but we're like, no, bring back Legacy.
I like new New York.
Yeah,
I
but
just
have them
want
both.
also old New York as well.
Right. Yeah.
Sonia Morgan is my all-time favorite housewife in the world.
You gotta love
her.
love Sonia. And the thing about Sonia that as kooky as she is, she really does. Has she ever really gotten into a huge fight, or she's never screaming at people? Like, she is a sweet person, you know. She's not that regular thing.
The Morgan letter.
I mean, she'll have freakouts, but
that was one of few.
And that's the thing that she freaks out about.
But even then, like her freak out, she was like,
and then she's like, okay, sorry, done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like she's someone who can explode, but even once she does, like she's ready to move on, and she's like, okay, I'm sorry, and then we just move on, you know.
Yeah.
We also love Potomac, but this last season was bad too. It's like everyone's crashing and burning.
Not Salt Lake.
Yeah,
I have full and I think Real Housewives of Miami has been an absolute.
So good.
I love Real Housewives of Miami.
I
so many
get
people
into
shit
that.
on it.
People say that this new, I watched it before, but apparently this new iteration with some of the same people from before apparently is really good.
Oh, this last season was super good. Like it was airing at the same time as Beverly Hills, and we're like, we watched Miami first for sure.
Yeah. Anna Marie, did you guys see this?
Ugh.
So Anna Marie got fired.
Yes.
And then she goes on Twitter and she gets in a fight with a fake Crystal Minkoff Twitter account and says like awful, vile things. Because, well, this
and it was
Twitter
fake.
account had said like, how about we talk about your racist, transphobic husband? And so Anna Marie jumps back, but it was like, that's not the real Crystal. That's Crystal S. Minkoff. It's not her. And it's like, and then the Crystal, the fake account said something again, and Anna Marie went back again. And I was like, girl, you need someone to help you out with this. Like, don't give this any attention, please.
That's embarrassing to be fighting with a fake Crystal.
Yeah.
Well, she just crashed and burned. I mean, I saw her first couple episodes. I didn't see the trip, and I felt bad for her because I felt like, oh God, she kind of came in late and she was pigeonholed, and, you know, she's not really gelling that much with the other ladies. But, you know, since she's been fired, I just seeing her go on and talk about when the real Crystal gets fired recently. Yeah. She went on and was talking about, oh, karma's a bitch. And, you know, this is on you. It's like, God, lady, you know, I mean, right? Like, you were on the show for a minute.
Yeah. And she didn't fit with anyone else. I mean, she came on as Kyle's friend, but I'm like, how close are you and Kyle really?
Kyle
they
couldn't
just
even
lived
tell
down
you
the
her
street.
middle name.
Yeah.
And that whole thing of like, my husband tells me I'm an 8.5. I mean, it was just horrible. It was
Put
just
that in a Hallmark card.
I'm like, who says that? That's like so rude.
Maybe.
And she thought it was such a compliment. I was like, really, it's not. You're an 8.5.
You never graded anything.
You're never good at
always an 8.5.
Well, yeah. And he said to her, like, you're 8.5 in looks, you're 8.5 in this, you're 8.5 in that. It's like,
I was like, what a horrible thing to say to somebody, to your wife.
Yeah, but she thinks it's sweet.
Yeah.
The big thing that's hard about Housewives is there has to be history there for it to really work. And I think that's what's so great about Legacy New York is that these women, whether when the show started they were friends or not, they have years of history together. And you can't manufacture that in throwing people together. And I think that's why the first season of the new New York sucked, is because like these women don't really have these connections. But I think the second season will be better. I think the third season will probably be even better because now they're seeing like, because probably I think Erin Leachy went in thinking like, oh, everyone's going to love me. And then she saw like so many people hated her. And Sai, I think Sai was like, oh,
she thought she had it. She was like, oh, I'm going to be the favorite. It was like, everyone was like, can you stop complaining about food?
Yeah. And so I think that like, when we get more history, when you take someone like Anna Marie, who has literally no connection to these people, and you throw her in, it's just
doesn't work.
Awkward. It's uncomfortable. Like Crystal Minkoff, she doesn't really have a tie to any of these people. Now she's kind of friends with Garcelle and Sutton, but that's what was so beautiful about Vanderpump Rules when it first started.
I was just going to say, that's why Vanderpump worked so well, because they were real friends who had a history. Then when they tried to bring in random people who also worked at SUR, it was like, they didn't work. They never lasted, and the show became boring. It's
And
like
I
we
think
want
that's
the
why-
old friends.
I think that's why The Valley is so great right now. Because these people had existing friendships.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about The Valley. I was so ready to say this is going to be a bullshit show. And I'm like waiting.
Are you guys watching that?
Yeah, I am. Well, I watch Vanderpump Rules. I bowed out probably around the time that I was like, these idiots are buying $2 million houses, and I was pissed. I was like, I can't watch them. So
we jumped out for a season or two as well.
But
when Jax and Stassi left, then we were like, we're out. But then Katie and Tom were divorcing. We're like, we're back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, obviously this last season with Scandival and all of this. And Brooke, you didn't watch the show, but you were kept saying to me, what the hell is all of this happening? Like, what is Scandival? And why does everyone want to talk about it all the time? But it was really interesting. It was really fascinating. And it was fascinating to watch and like to know what's going on behind the scenes. And this season, I was, a little worried about, is this all going to be just a fallout from this? Or are we going to get anything? But I think I haven't watched yesterday's episode, but I think it's starting to get interesting because I think we're seeing a different side of Ariana. Like, I think her finally opening up and saying, like, this has been hard for me and crying and allowing that. It's been good because the problem is they're in a bit of a bind, right? Like she is so mad at Tom, and she rightly so. And she just feels like everyone needs to side with me. And I understand that. But the problem is, this is your job. You have to show up. You all work together. And you want to keep this rolling because you all need to keep this rolling.
You need the money, man.
Neither of you want to quit the show.
None of you are employable elsewhere.
They're all going to be back as sir.
You cannot replicate this in the real world.
No.
Yeah.
And I think about, like, don't you find it so interesting? Like, in today's day and age, I feel like the world is more divided than ever.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't it so weird how when something like Scandival happens, when something like the Titanic submersible happens, when the Idaho killings happen, like, it feels like America comes together.
Yeah.
In those moments, it's
in the same research project.
Yeah, like, it's just like we're all like, we can put aside our differences for a little bit and we can all just commiserate on this one experience together.
Like, most people knew about Scandival even if they didn't watch. They were like, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay.
I feel
What
like
a
I know the
beautiful thing.
story. Yeah. You see enough headlines and clips and whatever. I know what happened. And I've never seen a single episode.
It's beautiful.
You've got to watch it. What are you doing?
TV brings us together.
Well, I'm intimidated by, maybe I'll get in on The Valley since it's only been a few episodes, right?
Yeah.
You could definitely jump into The Valley.
It's good. And it's great because you can see, like, these marriages are bad. Okay. This is falling apart. Like, I can't
And when
wait.
you watch that, aren't you just like,
Jesse
God,
and
I'm so
Michelle
normal.
hate each other.
Yo, yeah. Big
Like,
time.
how are you ever together?
Well,
Like, they can't even stand to be in the same room.
No, I think that she said it was a booty call that never ended. I think that she was like, oh, crap. I think that she was like, I want to have sex. This guy's available. I'm going to have sex with him. And I think that literally she just ended up still doing it. And then they got pregnant. And now they're like stuck together.
There's something that happens on reality TV that absolutely drives me nuts. And that's when, this past episode, she was like, he's a really good dad. And it's the amount of times we had to sit there and listen to Janelle say, Cody's always been a really good dad. I'm like, just because you had an absent father doesn't mean that Cody doing the bare minimum is him being a good dad. It drives me nuts how many people will go on and be like, he's such a good dad. I'm like, we saw him interact with her. He wanted nothing to do with his child. He's like, please go away.
Yeah.
Like, that's not
just because he talks to her doesn't mean he's great.
Yeah.
Well, and Kristen. Oh, Lordy, Kristen.
My goodness.
Kristen.
And can she please get a better fitting outfit? I feel like her boobs are always going east and west.
Yeah.
She's so sloppy all the time. Like, I feel like she just never looks put together.
I feel like she has her stories together like she has her outfits together. Like, it's all a scrambled mess. She makes me feel
And her boyfriend, I thought, was like, we didn't need him on the show, but this last
we need
episode.
him.
Okay. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Have you not seen it yet?
I haven't seen that, but he does. He seems a bit angry. I'm wondering if there's like some anger issues, but you know, what I love about the show is Jax going to Kristen being like, you know, we've been friends forever. And, you know, I can be truthful with you and you're an idiot, but I love you. And like, this is Jax's standard operating, you know, as a friend is he just insults her and calls her, you know, you shouldn't be doing this.
You shouldn't have a kid. I'm like, why
as
do you?
if Jax should be having a kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
Seriously.
have you seen that man? He's absolutely coked out. And it's like, should you be a father?
Yeah.
The clips I've seen of him, he just always looks like he's in a roid rage or something.
I know.
Yeah.
His eyes are always like bulging out of his head.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Scary.
No, he is a monster. And just seeing some of these people, you do wonder, I'm like, would you still be a monster if you hadn't gotten on the show? If you hadn't become this person? I think so. Yeah. I mean, Tom Sandoval I find him utterly fascinating because he seems like someone who has no idea who he is. So he just tries on new personas.
Yes.
You know,
all the
and like,
time,
now
yes.
I'm going to be this person. Now, what's this like? And now I'm going to be this person. And what's this like? And
it's like he loves to dress up in costume and then be like, this is my new personality.
Yeah, this is who I am now. And the fact that he really, I mean, it's frightening that he really doesn't get at all his part in any of this. The fact that he's not willing to take any accountability, the fact that he doesn't get what taking accountability really is. I mean, all of it.
He's definitely, I'm sorry that you're sensitive kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but
yes.
Did you see
you
he's
wrong.
now trying to make his own merch that says dipped out?
No.
I'm like, oh, this is not, it's not going to go well for you. Like, he's like, oh, like Katie and Ariana sold so much merch. I'm going to get on. No.
Do either of you think that you could make it on reality TV?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
No way.
I don't think that I think you have to be really, you know, you can't be very self-aware to be on reality television. And you really do kind of need to separate yourself a bit from what's going on. And I just don't think I could do that. I'm always about like, why is this happening? And what are you thinking? And all of that. I think you just have to be, that's why Vanderpump works, right? It's like, it's a group of people that have no awareness.
It's really vapid.
Yeah.
The vapidness. Yeah. I'm too worried about what people would think or say. I'm an introvert. Like, absolutely not. Like, I had, very many years ago, before reality TV was really a thing, Tess went on one of those home makeover shows.
Oh yeah, my husband and I did a home makeover show called.
It was like,
remember it's
the concept was
Design Rewind.
Yeah, you only used stuff that was already in your house, and I think you got a budget for paint and a couple of other things. But anyway,
was it the Christopher guy? No. Okay.
Was it on HGTV?
Yeah, it was on HGTV. And Design Remix. Basically, they redo one room in your house, and the budget's only $50. But really, what they don't tell you is you get a full staff, a carpenter, a designer, right? Painter. You get all this free help and labor.
Okay. But they were doing these, you know, after we did the reveal. So it was me and my mom and I don't know, maybe someone else were there for the reveal. And they sat us down beforehand and, you know, did those little interviews and asked us before the reveal and after the reveal, asked us questions. And I did so poorly at that they cut me from the show. Like, I couldn't even get on camera, and because I was going into too much detail, and they're like, stop. They're like,
did you have like a viewing party and you were like, where's my part? Or did you know?
No, I just, when it came on the air, I was just like, oh, okay. I'm not. I got cut, and even in the reveal part, you only see me for like 1 second because, of course, I really don't have much expression, or I'm not excited enough.
Well, and this is the other thing is that was a 22-minute show. They, hands down, I cannot tell you how many hours of interviews I did. Hours and hours and hours. And what they do put words in your mouth. They're like, well, can you like thank so-and-so? You know, can you can you compare it to this? They do tell you a bit of what, what they want you to say to make their story and make the story work. And I mean, my husband and I knew that just when we were meeting with the producer, we were like, okay, what's our story? Why do we want this room changed? Because they're going to need a story. You know?
Did they come to you or did you guys like find the audition?
We found them, a friend of my husband's wife's sister worked on the show and they had it done. And so we knew a little bit about it and they just sent us the info and they said, well, this is the producer, reach out. And so wrote something. And then the producer came to our house and I think they wanted to see the room and the setup, but they also, I think were looking at us like, do we have personalities? Can we, are we interesting enough to be on the show? And they said, yeah. And they basically came the first time for 2 days of all day shooting. And then they wanted to change some things. So they had to come back. And it was the whole thing of like, well, you were wearing this necklace. Can you get that necklace? Can you, to have to continuity to get to do more interviews and more stuff. But it was worth it.
If I was ever working in the industry, I'd want that to be my job because I'm so good at it. I always find when things have like changed or like their part was
it happens in Sister Wives a lot. It's like, they're in the same interview room, the same outfit, but their hair is different. Like they got it recently
different,
colored
or I can tell like the lighting is a little bit different. I live for that stuff. It makes me so happy.
But it was fun. Our first dog, who's now passed on, he was the big star. He's a pug, and he got
airtime.
Oh, he got all this airtime. He was
more than I did.
Yeah.
He took Brooke's spot.
Yeah, he did.
Oh no, I was the most boring person to ever
That's so
almost be put on film.
I love that you just didn't you just watched it back like, oh, I didn't make it.
Do you think at any point when you were talking, they were just like letting you finish, but they had turned off the recording?
They're like, okay, let's let her finish.
You're like, oh, the red light turned off. They're like, no, it's fine. Just keep going.
I think we're good with your questions. You're like, don't you want to talk about the after? They're like, no, I think we're okay.
We don't need your reaction. Okay.
Well, but they also did interviews with Mom for hours upon the same
thing. She made it,
but it was the weirdest comment. It was like, oh, it's a very deep orange. That was the one comment. I'm like, of all the things she said, this was the best. This was it. It's a deep orange.
Did you like the room in the end?
I did, but you get a very true reaction because they lift up the paint color and it was orange, and you can see my face go. So the color was supposed to be, the main color was this dark orange, and then they were going to accent it with like a
red,
a yellow, but more of like a very white yellowy kind of thing, not that bright. And then the accent color was green. And so when I saw this, I was like, ugh, I don't know. But yeah, it looks really, we don't live there anymore, but it still, it looks good.
When you guys listed the house, did you guys pull a Brian Colwell and say, P.S. this room was designed by a celebrity designer
this
and
room
featured on national television?
Well, that was the thing. Like, you needed to own the home, or you needed to, and so my husband and I, were going to temporarily live in our mother's rental unit. She has a rental unit that's attached to her house, so it's a separate place,
like an in-law unit.
We left 12 years later. We were going to be there a year, but so we just had to get her permission. So it's our renters, actually, and some of the renters have wanted to paint over the orange over the years, and she's been like, no.
She's like, that was done on TV. You won't be touching it.
Well, it was
that
also
has a place in history.
Right. It's a very, a good paint job, like a professional paint job. Yeah. It has these high, like vaulted ceilings. So to pay someone to do that would have been a lot of money. It was a very valuable thing. So she's like, no, let's stay.
Yeah. And it wasn't, it was just the color they didn't like. It wasn't that it was chipping. I mean, it's been well, Layla was a little baby. So, I mean,
like 20 years.
Yeah, ago. It was 20 years ago. And the paint is still
That is
prime.
quite the paint
They did a
job.
good
Yeah,
job.
it was. It was.
I
It
have
was
never
definitely.
seen a paint job like this before.
It surprises me because I feel like you hear about, I've heard other people be like, oh yeah, I was on HGTV, like some show, renovation show. And they're like, they leave and it's like things are falling apart and they're half done, but they like
Well, I
tried to
think
make
the
it look
difference is
good.
it was a $50 budget. Like
Yeah.
they weren't redoing, they weren't remapping the bathroom or the plumbing
true.
or any of
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, there was nothing. It was all cosmetic. It was all, and there was, a list of things that we needed because we had these stairs that went up and we were worried about the dog sliding through the stairs. And so they built us these things and painted them, and all the things that they did were really pretty basic. That kind of thing. So they weren't like ripping out tile or worrying about backsplashes or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
yeah, I was our brush with fame.
Wow.
That's your claim to fame. Your 5 minutes.
My claim to fame is that I was on the schedule for Glendale Community College. They put one student on the book every semester, and I actually asked if I could be the person, and the email I got back was, "We've never had anyone ask before, but sure." I'm like, thank you. Sometimes you gotta make your own way in this industry.
Yeah, you do.
You gotta go out on a limb.
Yeah.
They were like, usually we just walk up to someone walking in the courtyard and take their picture, but sure, come to the photo shoot.
For sure, yeah.
But is it the entire school year? Are you on the
It's a
cover of that?
semester. It's a
Oh,
semester.
okay.
Yeah.
And usually people stop looking at it after like 2 weeks.
It has like all
because
the
they pick-
classes
Yeah, it
in
has all
it.
the classes. Actually, I have it here right now. I will show it to
Okay.
Is that what you
wow.
have it? It's
Oh,
it's
that's
sitting
so
right here.
exciting.
So honored.
Wow!
Look at that.
Look at your hair.
Little
Oh
baby
my-
Ace.
Yeah,
Justin Bieber hair.
I was gonna say you have Justin Bieber hair.
there's no way they had more. They're free, but they had never had to print so many copies because I just kept taking them. I just was like, more and more. They're going to ask me to come back, I'm sure of it.
It's such a popular issue that they have to ask me back.
They're like, I don't know why this one is flying off the shelves.
But
Did you
that
give one to all your relatives for Christmas?
Right.
Oh, I was signing them for people in class, and all these people like didn't even know me or talk to me. Like,
And you're like, do you want a signed copy? They're like,
Yeah.
no.
Because I went to the very first class I went to in community college. I raised my. They're like, does anyone have questions about like school or whatever? And I raised my hand. I was like, how do you get on the cover of the schedule, the class schedule? And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, that's my goal. So then I just hyper fixated on making that happen, and I did. So something's definitely wrong with me.
wow.
Oh my god.
Wow. Wait, and
So
that
I know
was
you've been
during
on
the time.
HGTV.
That was during the time, right, when were people still using the actual book to register and do that, to pick their classes?
You could look at the classes, but then you had to go to like your counselor and pick the classes.
Oh,
with
okay.
them.
Yeah,
But
so
it
it was
gave you
still
the description
useful.
of all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For reference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You had to
Because-
pick it up.
Because these days, if you hand anyone paper, they're like, "What? Huh?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
that.
this. Get this
No, but
away from me.
I was signing them left and right, and nobody was asking for them. I was just like walking past people in a hallway and being like, "Here you go," and it's signed.
Well, you had more like 5 minutes of fame than Brooke did.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my close up, Probably never come.
Well, maybe it'll be the podcast. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe well, the closest I've gotten is, we posted a video of ourselves on our Instagram.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
It's definitely a trip, like, just telling people about your life and then them being like, "Oh, I want to hear more." Like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're here. We just got a comment today on our Patreon. Like, I'm here because I love your stories about your life. And I'm like,
And you're
"You
like,
do?"
what? Really?
I know so many people are like, I don't really care about the recaps. I just like hearing about your life. And I'm like,
And we're like,
we have
really?
to recap. Like, it's part of we have to. Like, we can't just come on and
Like,
just
we're
talk
not going
about
to be people who
ourselves.
are like, oh, here's a podcast we're just talking by ourselves about
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, I mean, and there have been people over the time who have been like, I'm not here to hear about you. I'm here to listen to reality TV. And I'm like, I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
Well, then find a different podcast.
Yeah.
Then fast forward.
I've started trying to be better about being like, you can skip to this moment and that's where the actual recap starts. But even then, we're like so ADHD that it's like we're talking and then we're completely off subject again.
Oh yeah, here's another story about something that happened.
Yeah, it is what it is. You either like that or you don't. And the people who don't like it, they should just go find another podcast. And I just find it so curious. The people who feel like they can complain about a free podcast.
Yeah, I know,
like,
right?
Just turn it off. You know, if you don't like it, it's fine. No hard feelings. Like,
it is
just don't tell me because I have it's a lot of hard feelings.
Just go in quietly. But it's true. The podcast that I like, I just want to hear about them. Yeah. Their personal lives, usually. So.
Yeah. Well, I know.
World.
Yeah, it is. And I'm constantly the world of trolls and just doing the podcast and getting in it. You're like, oh God, I don't know how these reality stars. That's another reason why I don't want to be a reality star. It's like they just get so much shit.
They're vicious.
Oh my gosh, nobody's ever talking anything like nice about them.
No.
I'm like, oh, it's so hard.
I think that I could be on reality TV in the production of it, like loving it. I feel like I could make great TV, but the second it aired, I think I'm over with. Like, it's just like the second people say one mean thing about me, the second that people are like, wait, he's married to a woman, I'm like, oh my God, please.
And I think it takes a lot to be like the favorite one who doesn't get talked about that much. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everyone's talking about Tom Sandoval and how much they hate him.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about like, they're like, I like Allie. She's like the only person who doesn't get that much hate.
Yeah.
But she's not talked about that much.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine like you make the worst mistake of your life and it's on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and that's what everyone's seeing you do. But again, the flip side is they get multi-million-dollar homes and they don't have to really work. So
exactly.
That's the trade-off.
And I think he kind of thrives off, even though people hate him for what he's done. He's like, they still love it. He loves the attention. He's like, I don't care, good or bad.
Yeah.
As long as people are talking about me.
I love the attention, but only good. I don't want bad attention.
That's right. Don't come for Ace.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys. I just want to say that you guys have really like paved the way for all these fun Sister Wives podcasts. And we really appreciate, because you guys just put it out there and, talk about stuff that I don't think we would all be talking about if it weren't for you,
We paved the way. That is the biggest compliment I've ever been given. We've paved
it really is.
By being absolute menaces.
Yeah.
You're not menaces. You're very honest and open, and you have humor, and you can talk about it all. I don't know. I'm just fanning out on you, but I really I've just ever since I discovered your podcast, I've just loved it, and it's brought me so many belly laughs, like I said. And we really appreciate you guys taking the time to come and talk to us, and it's just been a delight.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys asking, and I will tell you this. If ever you want to do this again, we will always say yes, but as Amy has learned and Amanda, we don't like one time I asked Amy and Amanda, I was like, hey, can we do this thing? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, for sure. And then they kept asking me questions about it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't have answers to that. And so they ended up planning the show that we asked them to do. And they sent them time and they scheduled it and they recorded. And
we're always up for anything, but we are not organized and we're not planners. So
so if ever you want us back, we will totally come back. But we'll never be like we're just too disorganized to ever think
to ever plan ahead or reach out.
Well, we'll do all the heavy lifting. And when something comes along that, we think we want to dive into, we'll let you know.
Yeah, but if you have something and you want to pitch it to us, we'll do the legwork. I'll do it.
Thank you. Okay. Because I have lots of ideas. It's just I can't do the legwork.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate the ideas, because that's the other part of it too, which is coming up with like, should we cover this? Should we cover that? How are people going to feel about this and that? It's hard to kind of know, right?
When you cover something that people want, and then you're like, you get through it and you're like, oh, it's not really that good. And then everyone else realizes they don't like it either. And it's like, well, now we already started.
Everyone asked us to cover Smothered. And now I'm like, God, this is the worst show I've ever seen.
And everyone's like, yeah, like we should quit Smothered. And we're like, but you guys asked for it.
We can't quit now. We're not quitters.
It's so hard. And it's hard to know before you watch. You don't want to watch the whole season, you know? So we're watching it as we go. And then we're like, this sucks.
We just jump in blind and we hope for the best.
I think it's okay to jump ship. We did that once where we started watching
90 Day Fiancé.
90 Day Fiancé.
And we just left.
This is too much. The episodes are too long. It goes on for like 3 or 4 months. I can't. And
it's like we never do 90 Day Fiancé. There's so many.
Yeah.
People always ask us to do 90 Day Fiancé. And I'm like,
there's too much. It's too overwhelming.
I can't. Like we tried doing Married at First Sight, and that was another one that was like, God, it just
they drag it on too long.
And on. And it's like, I don't care about these people anymore. Yeah. Give me 10 episodes, make them 42 minutes each time. I'm good to go.
The only people we're sticking with through thick and thin is the Sister Wives.
That's right. Yes. If they had 2-hour episodes, I'm there. But yeah, my attention span as I get older just gets shorter and shorter. And that's what makes me mad about these documentaries. They're making documentaries longer and longer.
Yeah. And in our day, they used to be an hour and a half.
An hour and a half max.
That was it. Yeah.
Now it's ridiculous. So whenever I find something that's like under 2 hours, I'm like, we're doing this.
Yeah. We must have, we complained so much about how long the documentaries were to the point where we got reviews of one person going, maybe you guys should rethink this podcast. Like, maybe this isn't working for you.
Maybe you know? Like the documentary.
It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we should stop complaining so much about things.
Do you guys take like in-depth notes?
We used to, and then we finally. I think the one that was so hard was that the Bernie Madoff one. It was a 4-part documentary about Bernie Madoff, and it's a fascinating story. But basically, I was like, "What did you say, Brooke?" You're like, "I'm ready to take my Series 7. I'm ready to because I learned so much about finance.
Yeah, a lot of details.
It was so detailed and like, okay, so what is this? What's a buyback? And what's this? And what's that? That was the one that really, I was just like, I can't. This is taking me hours and hours and hours. So we switched it up a bit. We're now we'll do a recap or a summary of it that we, find or pull from somewhere, and then we just talk about the themes. Okay. And so that way, we don't have to take such detailed notes, and that was the other thing
hard.
Too.
Sometimes you just want to enjoy the show.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fun.
I feel like the things that will stand out we'll remember, but then you also feel like you don't want to miss anything. It's kind of hard.
Well, do you all take a lot of notes?
Oh, I take a shit.
We do take a lot of notes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many notes, but I've gotten better at like really, really just like paraphrasing and not going so in depth. Sometimes I used to write like sentences about one thing that happened. Now it's like I try to stick to like 5 words for this moment. And then
it's hard because a lot of people are like, I didn't watch it because I get enough of the recap from so we don't want to miss something that was a big point if they're not watching
Nothing pisses me off more than people are like, how did you miss Truly punching someone in the face in the background? I was like, God damn it, how did I miss that?
I don't know, because I was trying to take notes.
Yeah,
that's another thing. When you're trying to take notes, you're looking down and you miss things. Like I always, when I watch Seeking Sister Wives, I'll watch it the first time. No notes, just looking at the TV because there's so much body language.
We do that a lot too.
That you have to watch it, and we're kind of trying to get away from like the strict recap. Because it's just it's too much, and anyone can do a recap. You know what I mean? Anyone can write down everything and then just regurgitate it back.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make it our own.
We want the main points, and we want it made funny.
What do we want to talk about?
Right.
What stood out to us? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not here. If you want a strict recap, there's plenty of places on the internet you can go and get that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, our show is essentially, it's like through the lens of a therapist and an attorney, right? Like it's the whole idea of it is that, so it's our, right? What are the legal issues? What are the mental health issues? I think we're trying to do a lot more of that because that's the other complaint that people are like, I don't get it. They're not talking about the law or mental health at all, right? And it's like, okay.
I'm so glad that we're not smart because no one's expecting that from us. We're just idiots.
I want to hear though from your guys' perspective as like a therapist and a lawyer, like Sister Wives going forward, do you think they should continue or you think they should stop?
I think that if people want to watch it, I think they should continue. And they seem to want it. I mean, I think when this all first happened a few months ago, everyone was so in shock and didn't know what. But like I said in the very beginning of this show, this is a family. I don't know if we've ever spent more time with a family or known more about their lives. And we're so vested And people do care. People do care what happens to this family going forward. And as long as I don't think Sister Wives has ever been portrayed in a exploitive fashion. We make fun of certain things, but they're not trying to exploit anything. I don't really feel so.
Yeah.
I think people want it.
Yeah. I mean, the part that's hard is it's like, I don't know how each individual person is feeling at this point. I think that each person, who wants to participate in the show should, if they're willing to have the show go on and the parents are for it and the kid, the siblings and everyone approves, then I think it's fine to keep going. But I think that's one of the things, right, that we're seeing now is I think they're starting to see that being on TV has been a lot for a lot of the kids. And so I would say that I think it's on the grown-ups of all of this to really say, who can handle this, who can't handle this, who wants to be here, who doesn't.
But all of the kids except for Truly and Cody's two youngest kids, they're all adults. So I mean, they can decide for themselves, and I think they should be paid.
Yes.
Obviously, if they're going to be on the show, they're all adults. They can decide for themselves. The problematic part was when they didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of them are kind of bitter about, is that I didn't have a choice and I had to have all of this part of my life on television. So that's hard. But going forward, it's pretty easy. You either want to do it or you don't want to do it.
Yeah. I think if they want to do it, they should. And I think they could really make a difference and shed some light on mental health stuff if they did it.
I think that mental health and suicide is something that, as far as we have come, we have not gone far enough. And it is something that when people go through that, they don't get reached out to by their friends because their friends are uncomfortable of bringing up the conversation, and they don't want to reach out because they feel this sense of shame and guilt because they're did I have something to do with this? And it's people get so insular with it, and they don't have this they don't have anywhere to look for guidance. And I believe, here's the thing, I think that if Sister Wives comes back and it's the same stupid show we've always watched, I think that's problematic, and I don't think that's
we
responsible.
can't have the pettiness.
No, but I think if the Browns can show us how they can go through such a hard time and get through it as a family, or however that looks for them,
or shed some light on mental
and they
health.
want to share that experience. If they don't want to share it, they don't have to. But if they did want to share that, I think that could be so helpful to people, because you don't really have many places to look for that experience. I'm not saying in trying to exploit this story or anything like that, but there are so many people who lose their life every day to suicide, and their families are just left and they have no idea what to do or how to cope. And it's one of those things that
it's because it's not talked about a lot. We don't really see people go through it and everything.
Yeah. Well, and it's not a I don't know what the word, it's complicated. It's a complicated death. You know, it's very violent. It's, it's not like losing a grandparent. That's not, that it's not part of this natural order of things. And so it triggers a lot for a lot of different people. If anyone's listening out there, there's a great book called No Time to Say Goodbye. It's one of the best books written about suicide and what it's like and processing that. And it's incredibly helpful for people. But each person has to figure out, how do I get through this? How do I process this? And because everyone had a different relationship with him.
Yeah.
Right. And that
and everyone grieves so differently.
Yeah. And they grieve very differently. But, it's, there are, as far as we've come. And one thing that I've seen in the, I've been doing this for close to 20 years now, is that people are far more open about mental health and going to a therapist and talking to psychiatrists and getting on medication. But there still is, we still are that very shameful about needing help, because, this country, we're very much about go out there, do it yourself. And we're not going to have universal health care or
everyone's on their own.
Everyone's on their own. Figure it out. That's kind of how we dealt with the pandemic. It was like, okay, here's the vaccination. You figure it out. You figure out if you want to be vaccinated. Okay, let's go. That's kind of our attitude. And I think that's so ingrained in us to feel like we have to be tough. We have to be on it. We have to, show a certain side of ourselves all the time. And I think that's a lot of what we're seeing is just this battle between, what seems to be changing. And I think it's going to continue to change to just these ingrained beliefs about I
am someone, I've had suicide attempts in the past. I've struggled with that. And it's crazy how still to this day, like I say that in front of certain people and it's like, what, like it's almost, I definitely think my parents' generation is the ones that really struggle with like being open and honest about something like that. And like, oh, you're not supposed to talk about that. Like, oh, is anyone listening? Oh God. And it's like, why would I not talk about it? It's a part of my life that I've been through and that I've experienced. And, I think that it's an opportunity, I think, to show people like Janelle's age. I mean, the demographic for this is those people who don't normally want to talk about this. A lot of the people who watch this show are kind of from that mentality of like, sweep it under the rug. Yeah. And here's an opportunity to be like, this is something that happened and here's how we're getting through it. And we want to talk about it because we don't want to just forget. We don't want to just pretend that Garrison
pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it could be a really good thing if they want to talk about it and whoever wants to participate. Yeah.
Well, I assume they have to address it. I mean, how can they not? They have to address it. But I think it'll be very telling about how do they handle it? How does it change the show? How does it change things for people? And then, where do you go? And
I hope they bring in, I was going to say, I hope they bring in some experts. And
not
then
Nancy.
Not just muddle. Yeah, Puddle Monkey. And what's her name?
So you don't like Nancy?
Nancy,
no, Nancy's the worst.
Nancy was the second therapist, right? Pat was the first.
Pat was the first, and then we got Nancy.
As a therapist yourself, how do you feel
about Nancy? I don't think she's that bad. I think I felt for her because that's a tall order and to deal with all of these things. And the exercises she was having them do are legitimate exercises. Like that was family sculpting. Like these are real things. These are real techniques. But, she didn't have any history with them. Like you kind of need to have a history and a relationship and trust and all of that built up, for at least 6 months or longer.
I think what was so great about
you do all that work
is Pat called them on shit, and I don't think Nancy ever really did. I feel like
Nancy more so let them just talk.
Yeah.
I think.
And it's like, and I get that. But as someone who's been to therapy, I'm like, I don't want to just sit here and talk at you. I want to have a conversation, and I want you to give back. And I felt like one of the things that always bothered me is I had a therapist who did this too. Nancy was always writing. I'm like, can you listen to me, please? Like, look at me and listen to me. Record the session if you need to and take notes later.
You're like, what are you writing down? That I'm crazy.
She always had that big the big notebook in front of her, and she was just constantly like just writing it all down.
Wouldn't you just love to see the notes?
I would love to.
Oh God! If only that. Oh, maybe they're in the car somewhere. Like, lift up the seats. Really get in there because we have to find that. But I mean, and that's the other thing about like therapists in general is I always tell people when you're looking for someone, it's less about this is the best therapist, I found them or whatever. It's really about you and what do you respond to and what's going to work for you. Because I personally, I take notes in the first session, but after that I don't, because I do think it makes people feel weird. I went to this one therapist once where you would sit down and then she would just stare at you. So you had to start the conversation.
Oh,
yeah, I've had that too.
And then somewhere around session 3, I said, okay, hold on a second. Are you never going to start? Is it always on me to start? She's like, well, does that bother you? And I'm like,
oh God.
Like, oh God, we got to dig into this now. And that is it's a certain kind of training. It's a certain kind of therapist. And that was her thing. But I'm from this place of, let's have a little small talk. Like, let's ease
Yes.
in,
Yeah.
let's get to know each other a little bit and like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's less scary than just like, I'm going to stare at you.
Yeah.
If I went to that, I'd be like, I'm never going back.
Well, that was the traditional therapy, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like the few times I've gone to therapy, same thing. You sit down, someone's just staring at you, and you're expected to just talk. And then you stop and you want some feedback, and there's nothing. So then you just start talking again. You're filling in the time, and it's like, I'm not getting any feedback. You're just like making me talk and talk and talk until I start crying.
Yeah.
I could have done this at home.
This isn't helpful, right? I could have done this myself.
This is why I started a podcast, so I can just talk myself and then cry.
Well, and that was the traditional therapy. And technically, they tell you when I was in school, I got in trouble all the time for problem solving. I had all these supervisors who were like, you have to stop problem solving. And I'm like, but they asked me a question and I have an answer. Like, I have an answer. I can direct them in the right way because, people, you technically aren't supposed to give feedback. You're not supposed to give your opinion. You're not supposed to, like give them advice. And, the thing is that that's not what people want. And I figured that out pretty quickly. And then I started getting into coaching and integrating coaching techniques. And I'm also a coach. And so, what I describe to people is like, you have to be able to process, you have to have a sense of, what's going on, and you have to get the feelings out, and you have to be validated and all of that. But there's a certain point at which you can process till the cows come home, but if you don't change your behavior, nothing in your life is going to change. Like if you don't change the way you think about this, if you don't change, what you're doing, if you don't change your actions, nothing is going to change. And that does require, some guidance, some advice, some, like what to do. Because people want that kind of help. Like I
would think most people want a little feedback and a little help. That's why they do.
Oh,
see
totally.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and talk at myself.
No.
It's not helpful.
Well, and I think that's, it's there to process and get validation and be seen and heard and all of those other things. But it should be about change. It should be about, changing something in your life. So again, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I've certainly had people that are like, no, I want, something else. But
sounds like you're a good therapist to us.
I try. So
okay, well, we've kept you
God,
guys-
it's almost 2 hours.
It's
All
been
right.
almost 2 hours. I feel bad because I'm sure you're starving and have other things to I want to go eat dinner and like do something else.
No, you're good. We're talkers. We always make things last a long time.
We've enjoyed this time with you guys. Thank you
guys for having us.
Oh, yes.
And let's do it again.
And tell everybody where they can find you and all that good
Sister
stuff.
Wives, Love Should Be Multiplied, Not Divided is available everywhere for free. But don't listen if you have a stick up your ass or you're like, oh, I don't want to hear them say inappropriate things. That's all we do. We say the nastiest, most vile things. And then if you like that, then we invite you to come to patreon.com/sisterwivestalk, where it is 10 times even more disgusting and vulgar and nasty and personal lives and all of that. But if you can't make it through the free show, don't even
try the free one first.
Test.
Yeah.
If you didn't make it through this, don't come there. If you can't make it through that, don't go to Patreon. Just like pretend we don't exist.
Take the 3-step process.
Yeah. I remember did you guys get a review? There was this whole thing about, did you talk about fingers?
Yeah.
And then you got this review and then Ace for, I think, every episode after that for a long time. It was like
warning,
fingers, trigger warning, fingers, trigger warning. And so every time I hear fingers, I think trigger warning.
Yeah, it talked about fingering and someone got upset by it. So then I was like,
trigger warning, we're going to talk about fingering.
Now there's something, I just can't let something go.
Yeah.
And that's what's awful about me. But I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, that person needs to find a different podcast.
Yeah. And get a life.
Leave quietly again.
Well, the other thing too is we never ever do that whole thing. We do it like, if we remember, we never tell people like, be advised or,
trigger warning.
Trigger warning for this. And it's just because of our age and the way we grew up. It's like, listen, there were no trigger warnings in our lives.
We were raised in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, there was it was all out. Like, you know, we talked about in this latest episode about, because we grew up in this small town and this child that was abducted that was like my age, and just how much that affected all of us. Like, did anyone sit down and process that with us? No. Like,
No,
oh, geez, a child your own age was abducted. Do you have feelings? It's like, no. No.
Good luck. Go back to school.
Yeah, back to school. Forget about it. Forget it ever happened. Just move on.
Yeah. So
crazy.
All right, guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Pleasure. You too.
Thank you.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love, with no artificial sweeteners, only 30 calories, just 5 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. That great Pepsi taste with even more to love. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.